You may know him from Supernatural. You may know him from Lost. You may know him from Being Human. After today, you will know him from Pensacon. Let's bring out Mark Pelligrino! What's up? I've never been to Pensacon. Now I'm here. Can I tell you a little fun fact? You can tell me if you know this. Did you know that the sands on the beach of Pensacon are called the barking sands?
Yes.
Singing sands. Well, this thing, blame AI, blame Grok. I said the barking sands, but then the singing sand sounds better because barking sounds a little bit sketchy. Like you're farting, you don't want your partner to know, you're saying that the barking sands of Pennsylvania, or Pensacola, it's not me. But apparently the sands are so white because it's all quartz. It's washed down from the Appalachians, and it's fine as powdered sugar. And that's what makes, apparently, Pensacola like the #1 spot for people to go to in the United States. So give yourselves a pat on the back for that, guys. You have nothing to do with it. But I thought that was an interesting little fun fact, yeah? All right. Hi. It's good that you come visit and tell us about stuff. About yourselves? Yeah, it's like, why not? A little education for anybody. So I was telling Mark backstage that I was got to make this all about me. My Facebook memories showed 10 years ago today, I did my very first panel at Pensacon. And it was Sam Whitburn, who was the star with Mark in the show Being Human. Remember Being Human? I had to binge the show because I'd never seen it. What a great show. How was life as a vampire? It was fun. It's great being a vampire because you have superhuman powers. And who wouldn't want superhuman powers? I mean, it comes with a price. You got to eat human blood, you know, and that's, I guess, a little kick. I think that Aiden, Sam Witwer's character, would never forgive me for. So, I mean, I felt like I was a similar character to what I played in other shows, and then I was the father sort of yearning to have a relationship with my son, and he never, ever came around, sort of like Jack. Never, ever came around to loving the dad who gave him eternal life. So and Sam and I became very good friends too, so we're friends to this day. We both lost our soul dogs around the same time. So we bonded together when we first met over interests, and I got him into dogs. I think it's because of me that he got these dogs, and then he, of course, now understands what it's like to have a soul dog and lose a soul dog, which is really, 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 really hard. Anyway, great experience, great 4 years. I wish they wanted to keep doing it. Yeah, it ended nicely though. They did a good job of wrapping it up. But it ended. Yeah, that's true. I don't like that. I was looking I got to do research. I always like to look at people's pages to see how they did. In 1987, LA Law, you did Death Wish 4, and your character name in both of those was Punk. And then you did a few things, and then Tales from the Crypt a few years later, and they were... That was Arnold Schwarzenegger's directorial debut. Yes. I know a lot of things about Arnold Schwarzenegger I probably shouldn't. Because I listened in to conversations his assistant was having at the lunch table, and I was like, let's just say that never mind. Yeah. Being Human, and you were there from the beginning. There are several shows you came in to an existing show and became, I'm thinking of Lost right now, where you became, the Smoke Monster's brother. Yeah. What's it like coming in with an established cast like that? How welcoming are they? Well, I guess it's different for everybody who has the experience, but it's potentially very daunting because, they have years of experience with each other. They're like a well-oiled machine, and you're coming in as the new guy. Fortunately for me, I didn't know that I was going to be Jacob until I actually landed and met Michael Emerson, who said, "Oh, you are Jacob." I was like, "What? Who's Jacob?" No idea, thank God, because I think if I knew that I was the guy who had all the secrets of the island, it would have freaked me out a little bit. And so, but they were very welcoming. They were very nice. I just melded into the community nicely. P.F. Chang's and Titus Welliver and lots of bottles of wine also helped. He's really super fun to work with. We've done a couple projects together. So they were really great and not full of themselves. You know, they had probably the best, most talked about, most popular TV show at the time. They were all just really super cool, down to earth.
Flying into Hawaii to go to work doesn't hurt.
That's always a nice thing too. So yeah, there was that. I had Waikiki Beach right at my doorstep all the time, and that was nice. Yeah.
I want to remind everybody, there is a mic right here up front. If you have any questions for Mark you'd like to get in, I'm sure there are some shows, Supernatural, you might want to talk about. So
I know where all the bodies are buried, folks. I know where they're all buried, every single one of them.
Well, you came in as Lucifer in Supernatural.
Yes.
That was just a small part.
Well, it was only supposed to be like 5 or 6 episodes in the final season, right? I was supposed to bring on the apocalypse, and then Supernatural was supposed to be over. Well, 15 years later or whatever, we were still going strong. And probably could have kept going strong, but I don't know, it was the most popular sci-fi show on the CW. I don't know why it would end it. I wouldn't want it. I didn't want it to end. But everybody just, I guess, is ready to move on. But maybe they'll reboot it, right? I hope they do. They're definitely considering it. I guess it's script dependent, right? If they can get a good script going and Jared is interested in it, then it'll go. The boys have to say yes. And I know Jensen's working on the boys, and he's working on what? Tracker? Oh, he's doing that too. But there's the boys, the tracker, and then he's doing the origin story to the boys, which I'm on right now, which is why my hair is white. I didn't grow old fast overnight. I come out and you guys are like, what the fuck happened to Pelligrino? He's like 90. No, they over-processed the fuck out of my hair. So I'm actually playing a real character, a real historical character, so we wanted to make it as close to that real person as possible. Even though it's the VOD universe, so it's a different world, it's still, I just want you to know, Lucifer didn't make me old.
Well, you say it. How much of your own personality do you ever find yourself putting into the characters?
For Lucifer, like, the whole thing.
I love the one-liners, the way
the one-liners are great, but you could blame the writers for that. That's them, and me just saying the words. I don't think any part that I play is really me, to be honest with you. But with some, like Lucifer, for example, I love being a kid, a playful trickster, and that there was those heavy elements there, and the elements of understanding what it's like to be on the outside and to feel like you want to have a family that doesn't embrace you. That kind of stuff does resonate with me personally. But for the most part, what they do, they're anti-life, they're rage, all that stuff. But I probably have a little bit of that in me, but it's not me. I love human beings, so I would never. Everything that I think and do is about promoting human life and promoting, a liberal, open way of being, a rational way of being, which is pro-life. So I can't get on that page in reality, but I can identify with the person who can. So luckily my imagination takes me there. But guys like Paul Bennett, abusive. I think maybe I draw on my stepdad or something for somebody like that. But in my own life, I reject those ways of dealing with people entirely. I'm sort of a sheepdog, not a wolf. I don't like wolves, because they hurt vulnerable people, and I don't like that. Thank you.
Thank you. Have you worked with some, I'm thinking now like Aaron Sorkin, who you cannot deviate from any single word. You can't turn an and into a but or an if or something.
You're very kind. Wow, thank you so. You got one too.
I did. This is good.
That's heavy.
This con is starting out good.
Yes, I have actually. Not to the degree that Aaron Sorkin, because David Milch, who did NYPD Blue, and he did a bunch of great TV. He wrote sort of, Aaron Sorkin was at first a playwright, so his dialogue is very pithy. It's not the way people talk, but it's has great artistic value. It's real dialogue. And Milch used to write that way too. And if you did have an and or a but off, the script coordinator would come up to you and say, Mark, you have to put us, you gotta do this one, this word right here. That's a little annoying because you feel like you're thinking about what you're saying, and you don't really do that in life, right? The words come out of what you're doing and how you feel about it, and that's the way I like to work. So it can make you a little self-conscious. I was going to audition for Aaron Sorkin once. It might have been for the network. I forget what show it was, but I actually refused to, not because it's him, he's an amazing artist, but because it was too real. Because it was somebody getting up there and talking political perspectives, which I disagree with, and which is fine in a universe like Vought, where it's not real. But if it's real, then I don't want to promote ideas that I don't think are pro-life. So it's like, I just said, no, thank you. That's too.
Okay, it's time to think about it.
Really?
Well, I'm gonna. Because there's no, well, get them off the water, man.
Soft and gooey.
Do you have a favorite episode of Supernatural, whether it's one just like from your filming memories or just one that the script was like...
Oh, fuck. All right. One of my favorites is Baby. That one was directed by Thomas Wright, who ironically did one of my first films, and we never worked together again until Supernatural, and then we worked quite a bit. I love that because the whole thing is shot from Baby's perspective, and it's so freaking funny. Not as funny as Yellow Fever. I can't get that image out of my mind of the black cat flying out of the thing, and Dean going, ah, screaming at the top of his lungs. Such a funny scene. I love The French Mistake. Ghostfacers was so good. Yeah, there's like, I love that the out-of-the-box episodes are great because they didn't take themselves too seriously, and they made fun of themselves. And I love people who do that. I love shows that do that. They knew what they were about, and those shows to me, that's just great television. Right? Period.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You've got a lot on your filmography, but out of all of it, which one did you have the most fun?
Wait, say that again?
Out of all of the filmographies you have, everything you've done, which one just pops out to you for the best time you had, the best?
Oh boy. Yeah, I couldn't even remember Burn Notice. I remember a couple things from Burn Notice. I remember doing a scene with him on a bench by the beach or something like that, and I do remember that there were wildfires down there in Miami at the time they were shooting. And I remember a club scene with a bunch of people. I don't remember anything else. Movies, I have to think about that one. I think one of my favorite experiences was doing The Closer. That was one of my favorite experiences because I got to play a character that I really hadn't played much, and for me the character was a combination of Tim Gunn and Carson Kressley. I don't know if you know those two personalities, but I love those guys, and I was able to combine them in this amazing lawyer, and I love the crew, and I love that. One day, someone was doing my hair, and the next week she was actually directing one of the episodes. And you don't see that kind of crossover in film, because it's sort of a caste system, One of the things I love about Supernatural is that there were no lines between any of us, which is rare, and I love that was the fact there. And at that show, that they had such openness to allow somebody to realize her own dreams, beyond whatever compartment they put her in. They didn't think of her as being in a department. They saw her as a creative being, which was great. So I love James Duff. I think he's great. His shows are good. I'd love Gavin King Baker to come back on one of his shows. It would be fantastic. Thank you.
I was wondering, whenever you realize a scene isn't working and you were
Is there anything that you do to try to get out of your head, to try to work better on the scene?
Yes.
Keep cooking.
So, I teach a technique called the Meisner technique. Have you ever heard of it? Yeah? Really?
Yeah, I read it from you, like you being an acting teacher and everything.
Oh, cool. Yeah, so... when you're having problems, you have to practice this, though. It just doesn't come necessarily naturally. You just have to be interested in what the person's saying. And don't try to be result-oriented. Never try to feel what they want you to feel. If they try to make you feel, say, stop that. Don't try to make me feel stuff. Because that's really bad. Some directors will go, I want you to cry. I want you to fuck off. Don't tell me to cry. Try to cry when somebody says cry. Usually people in life are trying not to cry. So you just make sure if you know what you're doing, how you feel about it's natural. You just pay attention to the other person. And hopefully, the homework that you've done will come up. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So, it's a very dangerous way to work, of course, because you have to take your ego out of it and not worry about being good. And you can't be result-oriented, even though we live in a result-oriented world. Because the last thing you want to be as an actress is be beating the shit out of yourself for not realizing your idea of the scene. Because chances are, your idea kind of sucks. Chances are what happens organically in the moment with the person is way better. I trust that. If you trust that, you'll never have a problem. And you can be sometimes out of the moment, because, like TV and film is like built to fuck you up. It's built to not have a human experience. So when you see people like Timothy Chalamet having these amazing moments in this film, Marty Supreme recently, all of his work, I love all his work. It's like miraculous when you see that, because you know that 1,000 things had to go right for that moment to happen. One of the things is that he has to be completely free. So you let yourself be free, accept yourself for who and what you are in the moment, and you'll be fine. Thank you. Does that make sense? Should I do this like cloudy now? It automatically sounds really good. And I'll sound intelligent, even though I'm not.
On the set of Supernatural, was there a scene where you saw a castmate and you're like, I don't want to do this with him? No, everybody was all wonderful.
No. I never had that experience with any of the cast. Do you know people in the cast who had that experience with me?
No, sir.
Just tell me. I'm going to talk to them. Now you know. God, the more I'm talking, I'm like, fuck. No wonder they don't play practical jokes on me. What a vengeful little bastard. No, I really liked working with everybody. And I got to work with Shepard towards the end, which I really liked. And I enjoyed beating him up. Tossing him down it was like a long time coming, so it was a little cathartic.
Welcome to Pensacon.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
In The Big Lebowski, you and the character Boo, you first come in, you throw him in the toilet, let him know that you think that he's a certain Lebowski. And then later, you come in and let him know that he's the deadbeat Lebowski and you know who he is. You and Boo switched wardrobes.
I'm glad you noticed that.
And I'm wondering what's behind that.
How did you notice that? That you're the first person I've come across who's noticed that.
It's literally my favorite movie of all time.
Wow. So you didn't read that anywhere. This is just you.
No. When I was 18, I watched that movie probably 30 nights in a row while partaking in
psychedelics and other things. Man after my own heart. Yes, that is an actual thing. The Coen brothers are like, wouldn't this be funny? Yeah, they're like, you guys switch shirts because you guys are like roommates. You wear each other's clothes. I'm laughing. Everybody's like, what the so? It was funny though. Yeah, it was a little thing that they decided to do on purpose, which was great. Yeah.
Yeah, I probably wondered that for 20 years.
Yeah, it was a real thing.
Yep, I appreciate that.
Thanks, man. Peace.
That was it, first time?
Huh?
First time?
First time anybody's noticed that. That's great. I
I
want some of those shrooms, whatever he's having to
Yes, the Pensacola shrooms are the best.
Are they?
Yeah, I heard.
Thank you for telling me.
they're in the cookies.
Okay.
So as a martial artist myself, I'm curious, which is your favorite?
Martial art?
Discipline. And why?
So I used to teach Taekwondo when I was a younger man, and I used to train with the Olympic Taekwondo teams when I was younger. But Taekwondo is, I mean, some of the guys that I knew could really use it proficiently, but it's not really fighting, a very good fighter. I mean, I did Muay Thai for 4 years, and I boxed for 10 years, which is why I'm neurologically fucked up. But my favorite thing is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, BJJ. So I study with John-Jacques Machado, is amazing. I've been with him for 3.5 years maybe, every day. I go every day.
So you're still active practicing?
Oh yeah. That's why my shoulder's funked up right now, my knee's funked. What's funny is like you do all the practicing and you're like, well, I'm too injured to do, I feel like I'm too injured to do anything in real life. No, it's a great art. I really love it. It's sort of my, not to be sacrilegious, but my church. It's my place where I feel like, especially after losing Frankie, you know, going there every day, my dog, my soul dog, it really helps release, you know, all that grief, you know, and stuff that my body holds on to.
I highly suggest going out to the beach in the morning, doing your thing out on the beach. It's an experience that you're not going to forget.
Yeah.
If you're lucky, you'll be out there by yourself.
Yeah. You mean like doing a kata or something? I don't do any katas anymore, but, you know, I'll roll with somebody. Why not? Sand?
No.
You don't like the roll? You don't like wrestling?
No, I'm Taekwondo.
Okay.
I like the forms and the art.
That's what I thought I wanted. That's why I went to Taekwondo after I did Muay Thai for a long time because I was just getting so beat up. I wanted to do something that I thought I could do for my whole life, but it turned out to be not so.
I don't like to be in pain, so that...
Nor do I. Nor do I, but that sort of just comes with the territory, though.
Right. So I also have a second question for you. Have you been injured or hurt yourself so bad where you've had to go into work and say, look guys, I can't toss Jared today because I was over here doing this?
No. No, but I did have this neurological issue from boxing that did almost incapacitate me. And like perceptual issues. I've come out the other side, thank God, but I'm pretty sure the last time I sparred was like a 6-round sparring session with this really good cruiserweight. And I took some pretty good shots, and I feel like a week later shit started to go south. And you never know, that's why I try to convince people now don't box or don't do anything like that, because you never know what your particular time is. I mean, some people can take shots for years and years and years and never experience the effects of them. Some people can't, and you don't know if you're that person or not. You don't know when that one punch is going to be the one that, you know, tilts you over the edge just a little bit.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Thanks. Yeah, keep up the good practice.
I was thinking with Supernatural, because between Nick and Lucifer, like, was that hard to switch between such a serious character, well, not a serious character, but a character with such a serious situation to a character just needs to bring the world down?
Which one didn't want to bring the world down? I feel like Nick was sort of that nihilistic. Is the serious one you're talking about? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, what the story they made for Nick sort of surprised me. Did it surprise you guys? No? Did you think much about it? No? Like, I don't care. Yeah, I mean, when I first started to know Nick in that season 5, I thought he was an innocent guy who was mad at God because he'd done all the right things, and this terrible thing happened to him. He couldn't forgive God. That's sort of the gist that you get from it. But then later on, it seems like he was sort of a dick, right? Like he says, I was out drinking, I was out drunk when the person came and killed my. So he's sort of a douche, and not the family guy. He didn't do everything right. And then in the show, he's sort of seduced by Lucifer's power, and even lets his wife dangle in eternity as a ghost, so that he can hook up with Lucifer next. So a super corrupt character. Yeah, I mean, I always try to bring an element of play to what I'm doing, so even when it's serious, it's not harmful to you. You experience everything that you're supposed to experience, but you know it's the act of creation, right? I used to be like the dark method guy who thinks I have to just be so into this part. And it's so damaging psychologically to you if you don't just release some of that shit and let yourself live. That's why some of these guys like Heath Ledger go over the edge a little bit, because, or even Philip Seymour Hoffman, I think he got back into drugs because he was doing Death of a Salesman. It becomes so burdensome. You have to have an element of play. So even in that character is serious, there's still an element of play that enables me to have fun while I'm experiencing those terrible things. Does that make sense? Okay.
All right, we're getting a little short on time. We got about 5 more minutes, so come on.
It's like a chocolate chip cookie. Well, I mean, chocolate chip cookies are supposed to be
You'll get
the
one.
outside are soft and gooey on the inside. And that's tea. Plus, I took a quiz online. And the quiz online, have you taken that quiz? What supernatural character are you? I'm like, this is a shoo-in. I thought I was going to get Lucifer. I got Dean. I was quite jazzed. Yeah, he's my favorite.
All right, well, Mark has some photo ops for the next few days, Friday at 4:50, Saturday at 4:35.
You haven't?
Sunday at 12:15.
Don't be a pussy.
I mean, you can get a picture of him with this color hair. This is going to be electrifying.
Yeah, it's only on till March.
And of course, he's located in the celebrity rooms at the Bay Center and the Coca-Cola corner over there. So you can
Come visit, guys.
Mark, it's been a pleasure. Welcome to Pensacola. Come back.
Thank you.